Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and today we are going to be talking about taking a closer look at how we start, finish, and balance our days. I'm just going to make sure that we've got all the screens up that we need. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that automatically, so I just need to do that before we start the broadcast. And now I've got a screen that doesn't want to close. Yikes. Well, we can make a plan, right? It's a YouTube screen, and I don't know why it doesn't want to close on me, but it doesn't. All right, so here we go. Hi there, Jody. Good to see you there. And hi, Linda. I've got a problem. I've got a little screen that's come on that I can't get rid of for some reason. And it's a YouTube screen. And if I refresh, it's going to be a problem. So I just wonder. Hi, Sharon. I don't know what to do. My sense is to refresh it, but if I refresh it, it's going to be a different link. So I know what I'm going to do. I know. Hang on a second, people. We can do this because we're smart. I'm going to pop out the chat and cover it. That would be very clever, wouldn't it? Okay, there we are. I don't have to look at it anymore. You see, I couldn't see the chat because this little thing was covering it. So that was really quite nasty. Tell me something, Jody, how is the headache? Because I know you've been struggling with a headache today. And I'm nearly got all the screens set up. It's one of the disadvantages, actually, of live streaming on this particular platform that YouTube has created. I'm sure they'll get it sorted out, but you have to wait until you're actually live before you can sort out all the screens that you need to sort out in order to do a live broadcast. And the other platforms that we have been on, you can get into what I call a holding pattern where you can see what it's going to look like and everything, and then you can hit go when you're ready. All right, so let me see. Hi, Triona. Good to see you as well. And how are things in Ireland today? And for those of you who are superstitious, happy Friday the 13th. Do I have anybody on board that is superstitious to that degree? Yeah, Jody, I think one of the things I always admire about you is you don't let a lot of things get you down. Hi, Shell. Good to see you. And I just wanted to tell you that today we're going to be talking about a number of things, but what I wanted to do was just remind everybody how you look at the days to a very large extent, the sort of day you're going to have. And I wanted to start off, and I saw a really nice quote, and I thought this was very relevant. I'm going to go on and do some thoughts and prayers and stuff and some news updates, Jody. So I'm not actually starting, but I just want to give everybody an idea of what we're going to be talking about. Hi, Charlotte. What was said was one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole entire day. How many of you have found that out? That just the way that you start your day can actually determine your day to a very large extent. Yeah, Charlotte, you would know that from your running experience, right? That whether you decide you're going to run or not will determine whether you get any achievement. All right. And I don't know about the rest of you, but to me, getting achievement is what happiness is about. It's a really weird thing. But I will talk to that as we go on. Before we get into the main crux of it, thoughts and prayers. As we know that Erin's been having a tough time of it, and so we'll give thoughts and prayers. She might come in, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to make sure that you are all aware that, she's been having a really difficult time. And we're hoping that those pressure sores that she's got will, do something intelligent for her. And the other thing is Lauren, for those of you who know that Lauren's still in hospital. But what I've been getting her to do is to send us pictures, of her daily meals, because we know that in hospital, they're going to make sure you get the right number of calories, right? And so what I've been doing is getting her to take pictures of her meals. Do you know that she has fish and chips twice a week? Ah, Linda. Yes. And Linda's saying that, and I quote, been using your cleaning spurts and times, etc. It's working. So I thank you. Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about a bit more today, Linda. So I'm glad. It's amazing, isn't it? I call it my power hour. And so I'm glad that it is working for you. Anyway, so Lauren, we're trying to get her sort of doing us a bit of research while she's in there. Her meals look wonderful, right? What was the other one that looked so good? She had a sort of like a gumbo type meal that, oh gosh, that looks so good. And by the way, that's what I wanted to mention. Oh, Sharon, thank you. Sharon's just updating me on an issue that she's been having. Good. I'm glad to hear it. Okay, so the third one is Jody, as you've heard, has been going through a really tough couple of weeks. And I'm amazed. She woke up this morning with a really, really bad headache. But she's still here. And, you got to love her for that. And thank you for your support there. So next, anniversaries and birthdays this week, just so that you kept up to date for those of you who want to know. By the way, you can check them anytime on the DearMamaSal.com website. There is a panel on the right-hand side that shows a calendar, and it shows you whose birthdays and everything else are coming up. But just in case you don't get there, we've got Ozzy Becker. How many of you remember Ozzy Becker? Any of you? Charlotte, maybe. Ozzy Becker was my very first viewer and my first moderator. I remember her so well. Anyway, it's her birthday on the 18th, and I'm going to try. No, Ozzy Becker, the Becker that came from Australia. And that makes me cry because it was so long ago, and I really do need to get back to her. So I wonder if you could just make a note there for me, Jody, so that I can follow up on that in my spare time. All right, so here's the other thing. Yes, Ozzy Becker, I had a feeling you were there at the time, Charlotte. So yeah. And then for those of you who know Nana, she and Rick have their anniversary on the 27th. And then I'm pretty sure nearly everybody here knows Lizzie, with the amazing smile. It's her birthday on the 29th. So those are the birthdays and anniversaries that we've got coming up. I really wanted to thank you all for your support last week. You did a great job, and I was really challenged and then motivated to go and deal with the challenges. And I got a lot done in the trailer, as some of you probably have seen. You do know I'm going away this week. I'm going away tomorrow. Here is my question. It is possible that I could do a broadcast tomorrow night rather than Sunday, because I think they've got some sort of event planned for me on Sunday that might keep me away from being able to do a broadcast. So I was wondering how many of you would rather that I did it on tomorrow night. And the reason for that is that the people I'm going to stay with accidentally double booked, and they have, hi Sakura and hi R3D. They accidentally double booked, and they have to go to a family thing, and they're leaving me in their house alone. How about that? Hi Sophie, good to see you, honey. Oh, big hug, Sophie. For those of you who don't know Sophie, I was just saying, Sophie, that do you remember Ozzy Becker, Sophie? Anyway, it's Andy. Good to see you there. How's the trip going, Andy? Anyway, so I'm considering it would be the same time, Pat. I don't mean to get away from the Ozzy Becker, not Ozzy, Ozzy Becker. The Becca that came from Australia. She was before our Becca that we know from Ohio. Anyway, so I know some of you who were there originally, and the original viewers will remember her. She was my first viewer, I think, definitely my first moderator. And she was there before Emily. You know, Emily was probably the moderator that everybody remembers. She had boots on her. She didn't tolerate anybody messing with me at all. All right, so right. So here's why I love doing what I do. May I quote you on this, Linda, for the replay people? You know, because this is the sort of stuff that makes me want to keep doing what I do. I'm not joking. So, but I'll wait for her to answer that. Yeah, for those of you who saw Sophie's Easter cake, it was just like amazing. So we are very lucky to have these talented people in our midst. All right, so here's what Linda said. Thank you, Linda. She just gave me permission. She said, I've been in my dark place for so long. Housework was so daunting. But watching your trailer videos, there was more than one, Linda, decided to set a timer. Boy, it took a few goes, but heck, it works, Sal. Did my kitchen quick and well. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking a bit more about today, Linda, that what happens is the overwhelm stops us from doing anything. All right, as opposed to that. And in fact, I've got here on the news, we are beta testing something that I will put out first to the people on the mailing list. And it is helping you process things. And the other thing I found, because, you know, God is funny how the things you uncover, I created this sheet many years ago to help people process problems. And I was thinking, wow, I can't believe I found that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a PDF of it, and so that the people who are on the mailing list will get a copy. And then you can just print it out for yourself and fill it out anytime you want to. So this process thing that we're doing is that if you get totally stuck on something, feel free to contact me. And what I will do is I will put you into the system. I've got a new system where I give everybody their own process time. In other words, I'll ask a question, I'll get the response. When I get the response, I'll ask another question, and we just work our way through that. Hi, Emma. Good to see you. Welcome. So for those of you who are stuck but don't want to talk about it publicly but would like to work on stuff privately, let me know, and I will do what I can to work with you. Now, both Jody and Kerry have been doing that, and so if you want to know how it's helped them or not helped them or whatever, if you want, now we know that the system is still in beta testing, but I just wanted to make sure that you understood it's available if you want it. How is the move coming along? Yeah, I'm doing, you know, it's an incredibly slow process. I had no idea how long it takes to downsize. So I'm probably now, I would think about 60% there, maybe more. All right, so Linda, That's exactly, can I share that as well, I hope? That's exactly what I suggested to you, I think on last weekend's broadcast, is Nicholas, if he enjoys who I am, then we can use that to help motivate him. So here was the interesting thing, is that what Linda's telling me is that her son Nicholas was watching her do those, that power hour thing, and then decided to do a Sal's 20-minute clean of his room, and it worked. And that's it, because, if you've only got to do 20 minutes, it's amazing how much you can get done. So I wondered whether this is just, I know Sakura's been doing this as well. So I want to know whether you would like real life stories of the Power Hour series. Viewers who have done a Power Hour, and hopefully they will send me before and after pics, so that we can share them. You need to send me the before and after pics and give me permission to share them, and I will put some of them into the vlogs. And because imagine how many people we can inspire if we did that. For those of you who are waiting for the main topic, it's on its way. I just like to wait a little while to let everybody get a chance to get in. And what I wanted to say was, we've been doing a really fun job of getting people on the mailing list. So far, I've sent out 109 emails. And I'm sort of about halfway through the list, I guess. And we've had about 25% return, which is great. Nobody said no so far. So I've had a couple of emails bounce, so that was expected. But the good news is that we will do that. The other thing that you need to know is that I just updated my website stuff, and I made sure that I got really high security on the website. And I know that we can never be perfectly protected. I understand that. But I am doing everything that I can. And by the way, to give you some sort of idea, that alone, that whole renewing of the website and everything else, that is over $250 worth every year. And, I don't think everybody necessarily understands that. It's really quite amazing when you start adding up. And I'm actually now doing that. I'm starting to add up, because it was easier when I was working for a living. But now that I'm retired, these costs suddenly go, yikes, I forgot about that one. So this is a reality check for me. Hi, Kim. Good to see you and welcome. It's great to see you on a broadcast. So here we go. And the time, Jody, I make it at 12:15. And we are now going to get into the main topic. How many of you know? Well, let me first of all say that the topic is take a closer look at what you say and do every day. Take a closer look at what you say and do every day, because I believe they are related. For those of you who know Tony Robbins, he had that famous quote where he said, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. Now, my mother, long past, is rolling somewhere in her grave because of the English of that. She really didn't like the English at all. But you get the idea. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting the same results. So listen to what Linda said, right? She was getting more and more, into her funk. And what was happening was that she wasn't getting anything done. And so if you think about that, there's only one way to stop that process. You can make a choice to either keep going down the funk, or you can put a stop to it. And my reality is that I'm the one that puts the stop to it. It's not the pills, it's not the, whatever, it's not my best friend, it's me. How I choose to do this is my life. And I can't blame somebody else for it. How many of you understand what I'm saying? And what I've found is there is great magic in achievement. However small, there is great magic in achievement. So when I, for example, think about Erin or Jody or people who are in some way incapacitated, I always find it interesting what they manage to do, right? Find it really interesting what they manage to do. Even though they have serious challenges, they manage to get amazing amounts of things done within their limitations. Kim, I know that you are challenged in quite a few ways as well, all right? And I just, yeah, and let me talk to that. I've just got a couple of people talking on the feed here, and I'm saying this for the people who will watch this on the replay. One person said, I didn't take the pills. The other person say the pills help. Let me tell you something about the pills, just so that everybody's clear. If you are in a vortex that you cannot control, you need the pills. And the reason is because by then you have a chemical imbalance, and the pills, actually will help you rebalance. Now, if you broke your leg, you wouldn't think twice about putting a cast on your leg. And yet people have this whole thing about not taking the pills. How brain functioning enough to do a power hour in her kitchen, that's controlling the mood. And if she does that every day, she will probably walk her way out of this. That's what I found, by the way. Yes, and that's what I'm saying, Glenda, right? If you can control it, if you can prove to yourself every day that I have enough discipline to be able to do the next step, that's how I look at it. And I quite honestly, Linda, it's my greatest motivation. And I say to myself, if you can't do this, if you can't control it, you need to go back and get pills, right? And I've been there, I've been on the pills. So believe me, I know. So let's go on. Yeah, we got another viewer saying that they have it under control through meditation. There are lots of different ways. And funny enough, you should say that. Exercise also helps, yeah, because that releases endorphins and great stuff, serotonin and all those good things. I'm sure that a lot of you know about the law of attraction. And I saw an incredible quote from a guy called Anthony Joshua. And I thought a lot of you would really relate to this. And Anthony Joshua said, prayer is a form of meditation, isn't it? It's laws of attraction. Whatever you put out into the universe is what you receive. It's kind of putting your thoughts out into the universe. How many of you agree with him that prayer, for some of you, is a meditation? When we sit down and pray, but what I'm amazed at is how many times people pray for the wrong things. They expect God to fix the problem. So, if you are people who pray, could you remember to pray for the discipline to do what you need to do? Pray for the strength of character to do what you need to do. Pray for the whatever. Don't pray for God to fix it. Am I making any sense? By the way, how many of you going, who on earth is Anthony Joshua? Anybody ever heard of him? Because I hadn't, so I looked him up. And what I found out was that he is what they call the unified heavyweight champion. Now, in boxing. And then I went, never heard of that. What's a unified? Anybody else thinking that? I know about heavyweight champions in boxing, like Muhammad Ali. But yeah, but what is a unified? And that means that he holds the title on more than one of those, WBAs and all those, acronym things. So he holds the title in more than one place. So he's undisputed is what the word is, right? They call it unified. All right. So what I would like you to do, if you start giving me this information, I'm presuming it's okay for me to talk about it, right? Would that be a fair thing? So, Sakura, I just need you to give me a heads up because good quote, and I'd like to give you credit for it because that is so true. All right, and I'll just wait to get the okay on that one, and we'll go back to it. Right. Okay, so I got the okay. Here's what she said. She said, Mama Sal, I've been able to take my medicine for a while after we went on a trip. I had been doing a lot of ways to remember, and I'm still not 100% compliant, which upsets her. So I believe you say you're not 100% compliant in taking your pills? Hi, Carrie, welcome. Okay, so those are pills for depression? All right, now let me, and what I'm hearing now is that she's missing some doses or completely forgetting them. That is your choice, Sakura. You're not making yourself important enough. And by the way, I have to tell you something, Sakura, from my experience. If you're not taking them properly, they're not going to help you properly. All right. So I need you to smarten up, young lady, and get a pill box that has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever on it, and take your pills. You need to get taking your pills as part of your morning routine. So for me, I clean my teeth, I take my pills, I then put on my makeup. All right. You got to get that into your routine because forgetting it means that you don't care about it enough. And I have to tell you, yeah, Pat's absolutely right. Those are not the sort of things that you take now and then. All right. Um, and then do you understand that the way that they dose those things is that they give you a little bit so that it keeps topping you up until you get to the right amount. And if you keep missing them out, you're not getting the right amount. Okay, so that's I'm sorry to be a mother hen to you. Get them into your routine. To me, it's like it's I'm proud that you were able to pull yourself out of it, but I see no disrespect and no lack for anybody that needs to take the pills because I had to. All right. I got myself in such a funk, I couldn't get myself out. And I used to suffer from what they call situational depression when I couldn't, when I got overwhelmed, I couldn't handle it properly. And now I've learned how to do it, which I'm very happy for. So let me tell you that one of the things that I do that keeps me out of having to take pills, and just so that you know, hi, Carrie. Carrie's busy saying she sets alarms to take her nightly meds, but she doesn't have a problem remembering her morning meds. As you saw, probably, if any of you saw my blog from yesterday, I think it was, I actually, when I take my morning meds, Carrie, I put my evening meds out and put it on my vanity. So anytime I go to the washroom, I see them there. And it's not I actually normally take those at lunchtime. But just, I put exactly what I need to take and put it in a glass, so you can see it. All right. And, as long as they're there, I haven't taken my meds. It's the second lot of meds. And if I have taken them, I put the glass away. Does that make sense to anybody? It works actually really well. So here's the first thing. How many of you get up in the morning and have a plan of what you want to do for the day? Actually, you don't have to think about it when you wake up. You actually have got it planned already. Any of you? Pat does. Kerry does. Jody does. Sophie does it some days. Kim, no. Okay. So do any of you have a Google Calendar? Do any of you know how to use it? Yeah. Linda's saying it's a doozy when you get told you need the meds. Yeah. Sorry to hear that Kerry says she's got sunburn. All right, so what I thought I'd do is I tell you what I do, and hopefully it will help some of you. All right. Um, if you don't write a list of what you'd like to achieve in a day, you're not going to achieve it, right? If you don't take the time to plan, you plan to fail. Jody says she actually prints out blank calendars. I think that's wonderful. You know, if you do better doing the handwritten one, doesn't really matter. Some of you, how many of you like to, I would think Sophie maybe, because she's very creative, prefer the journal type list rather than, a calendar list? Yeah, and Linda's saying she's in England and she'd love to be having a sunburn problem at the moment. Yeah. Yes, Kim was saying she was told to keep a planner and a journal. Yeah. So some people find it easier to do it in a journal way. And you might want to look that up on the internet. And some people prefer the calendar way. I do a mix between the two as well. And I do that with Google. So if any of you would like to see how I do that, I will gladly show you. So here's the thing. Whatever it is that you use, if you don't write it down, you really don't want to do it. How many of you understand what I'm saying here? Yes, Sophie, that doesn't surprise me at all. That's why I said I would imagine you would work much better with a journal type thing than, and a journal thing will just not have it in any particular day, maybe what I'd like to do for the week, and they probably would, mind map it or do whatever. All right. And do any of you mind map? I should actually do a video on that because that's really interesting for very creative people. Mind mapping is just great. So here's what I do. If you've only got a few hours of time, then plan them well. All right. Now, some of you work all day and then you've got to get these other things done when you get home or whatever, and you're exhausted. So I found that I plan my day in chunks. Yvonne would say to me, "Kachunkas of time." And so I have a downsizing block of time in my day. Make sense? But I actually, in that block of time, I have a list of the things I can think of that I want to do. And I don't mind which ones I do. You see, everything I do is a step forward. Does that make sense to anybody? Yeah, I'm not rigid about what it is I have to do. What I do is, you need to get something done in this block of time and choose whatever you want, right? And what I found is that by doing that, I don't fight it as much, and I'm doing probably more than I thought. So I'm really proud of myself for that. And then let's say I have a craft time. Um, and then in that block, I know I've got to make some cards, and I know I need to do this, and I know I haven't been into the art studio in a week because I've been busy doing other things in that craft time. So then within that hour, if you really want to get fussy, and I want to call it a power hour. And because if you can power hour things, in other words, let's say that you say to yourself, all right, in the next hour, I just need to do something about that problem in that bookcase. Do you think you could do that? In the next hour, just something. I don't care what it is, just do something where you can say, did I do something about the bookcase today? And the answer was yes. And then what I do is I move that as soon as I've done something constructive about it, I can move it over to the next day. Do you get the idea? It's Yeah, Triona's saying that she's learning to actually give herself a lot more me time. Yes. And what you put into me time is really important. Hi, Peaches. Good to see you. Yes. Now then, I found, right, that Sophie's saying, really interesting point Sophie's saying here, that she's never written a list for her day. And she's a very creative type, right? I'm the type of person, when I suddenly decide what I want to do, then I just go until it's finished. That's fine as long as you haven't got something that's upsetting you, right? I'm really talking to the people who keep looking at something and going, I really ought to do that, and it's really beginning to upset me, but it's overwhelming for them. Makes sense, Sophie. So the trick is, that's how I'm downsizing, and I've got a quote for you. And the quote is that if you don't control your life, it will control you. If you don't control your life, it will control you. And by the way, that's my quote. And that's what I found. And when you just let life happen as opposed to control what you're doing in it, and you're not starting the day off in a positive note, how many of you noticed you can just keep getting more and more depressed all day? Yes. And so 2 comments are coming up. Sophie's saying, surprise, surprise, she puts off the less favorable tasks. How many of you relate to that? All right. And that's why I want to talk about, this power hour thing. I really encourage you, for those of you who really want to do something, please take a picture of something you want to work on. Right? Take a picture of it and send it to me. All right? Then I will know you actually do want to do something about it. Right? And what I will do is I will keep it in a scrapbook, and then what I want to see is, what does it look like after you've spent an hour on it or 10 minutes on it? All right. I want you to be accountable for that thing. Well, I want to tell you something, Sophie. You can say that, but do you know something? That there was a time, I don't know if you remember, that Manon and I both had incredibly untidy bedrooms, and the only people we shared them with was each other. So, Sophie, if you don't want to share it with the world, you just have to let me know. It's like, but we want to help you do something about it. And the most incredible thing was that, Manon and I used to send pictures, and then I'd send her a picture. I'm going to work on this bit today. Yes, Linda's saying that she's got 10 years worth of paper shredding. So have I. I've got 20 years worth. And that's why I just do a little bit every now and then. And by the way, Linda, I have to tell you, I'm getting to the stage where I've got most of it done now. I mean, I've still got a fairly decent pile, but I'm not filling it up as quickly as I used to. So I must be getting ahead of the game here a little bit, just because I'm doing a little bit every week of shredding paper. I just sit down on my bed and just, veg out. It's a very, yeah, funny. Sakura says she loves doing it. I find it a total waste of time. Oh, Sakura's saying that she forgot to take pictures for me, but that she she'd been working on her couch. She wanted to know what had fallen through the cracks. Apparently, it's a scrunchy colony down there. Yeah, and Sakura said that she actually finds shredding paper very relaxing, which of course is true. All right. But how many of you find it frustrating because you can't get, you can't do anything else other than shred paper? You just got to sit there and feed the machine. Yes. So Kim's saying she needs to get rid of the clutter in her bedroom. All right. So are you prepared to spend a little bit of time on it every day to do the tiniest little bit? What to do with the paper that you shred? Yes, and that's what we're talking about, Peaches, is that if you do things in little time spans, use a timer, say, I only have to do 10 minutes of shredding. Then I can move it on to another day. Yes, Jody's saying, oh, Jody, I want to tell you something. Jody's saying she gets impatient and then she ends up with paper jams. I totally relate to that. And I'm very happy that mine does have a reverse on it. I actually put mine into the recycling. We have recycling in Canada, so it goes into paper recycling. Now, we've got some interesting comments here, what people use their shredded paper for. Sharon's saying she uses a flower pot filler. That's a very clever idea because it will decompose, right? Very clever to use it at the bottom of your flower pots. Yeah, Kim's saying she works on her bedroom, and that's what I do. As soon as I've done whatever it is I want to do, I just move that block onto the next day. It's right. Okay, I've done that for today. Now, how many of you bake bread? I really do. I mean, after I finish this next 2 weeks of running around like an idiot, I'm going to do a video on this new recipe I found for making bread because I want to tell you something. It just makes the greatest bread. Yes, Kim, I wish I could take all the paper all at once and get rid of it. Well, you know that you can. I mean, if you, somewhere in your neighborhood, there is a paper shredding company. Yes, Sharon. Sharon's saying that if you put the shredded paper into your pots, you need less potting soil. So it actually is a very cost-effective way of using it. Now, I think we all know that wet paper really has a nasty smell to it. So you need to be careful what you do with it. I throw mine in the garbage. If anybody wants to go through and try and piece mine together, best of luck. How many of you have got shredders that don't just shred this way, they actually shred it both ways? Yeah. And mine just shreds it one way. And really, if they want to sit and play jigsaw puzzles with it, be my guest. At least I'm getting it shredded. Crosscut. Thank you, Jody. That's exactly cross shredder. See, I knew people would come up with the right answer. I just didn't know what it was called. Okay, Peaches. Good to see you there. Bye for now. So what other uses do you have for those of you who do a lot of shredding? What other uses do you use your paper for? Obviously, if you're packing, it's a really good thing to use. I'm not using mine for packing. Mine is going out the door. I don't want any more things in my house. I want things out of my house. So let me now think for a second, because you're all smart people. Oh, Jody says she uses it for putting away her holiday decorations. That's a good idea. Sharon's saying, what about papier-mâché um, and craft projects? I've never used it for that, but that's interesting. Kerry, you've got cuts on your fingers from work and a bruised foot. Well, you are doing an incredible amount of walking in your new job, I must say. Yes, and Sophie's saying, as I was saying, that she's using it as filler for gift boxes. We're getting, imagine if you could use it to, put inside the boxes for your Christmas presents this year. And by the way, if you want to make it look a little bit more festive, get some red paper and shred that and mix it in with the other stuff. It'll, just give it a festive look, or red and green paper, and just mix it in with it. Some people pay a lot of money to buy that stuff. How many of you are really good on the excuses why you shouldn't do it? So I was trying to think of what my most used ones are. So first of all, can you all think about one thing that you'd like to get done in the next week? Can you do that for me? And you don't have to do it all, just one thing you want to start on and start working on. All right? And then I want to know, are you aware of what excuse you're inclined to give to that particular task? Because I found that particular tasks I have particular excuses for. How many of you use the one, oh, I don't have enough time to tackle that? That's a big job. How many of you use, I don't have the money to fix that? Or I don't have enough energy to do that? And then the very truthful one is, I don't want to do it. All right? So what other ones? Do you have any others that you use, just so that we've got everybody covered here? What other excuses do you use? Sophie's got a great one. She's going on holiday. Are you going back to the Bahamas or wherever it is you go? So it's a good reason. Yeah, I'm going. I don't need to clean it. I'm going on holiday. Yeah, it's like I'm going away for 2 weeks. Where are you going this time, Sophie? I know that I always look forward to your vacations because you take some beautiful pictures. She's going to Rome. How romantic is that? Awesome. We will look forward to those pictures. By the way, Sophie, if you send me any pictures, let me know if I can share them with the peeps, all right? Ah, Sakura, I love the honesty of that. How many of you really relate to this one? Sakura is saying, I'm guilty of all of those, but my other excuse is, well, nobody's coming, so why bother? All right? I totally get that. Nobody comes to visit, so why bother to tidy up? Well, the reason to bother to tidy up is you will feel so much better for it. And you know that, right? So, as some of you will have realized with the work I did on the trailer, it's actually amazing what you can do with an hour. And the other thing was, when I really looked at the reason why I wasn't doing the trailer stuff, it was because I was scared. So when you've got your excuses going, can you make sure you ask yourself afterwards, is that the truth, right? I don't have enough time. Well, is that the truth, or am I not making enough time, right? I'm not making it a priority. I don't have enough money. Yes, but are you doing anything to save the money to do it, if that's what needs to be done? I don't have enough energy. Well, are you getting enough sleep? And are you making it the first job you do every day so that you have enough energy? Do you understand what I'm getting at? I don't want to do it. Yeah, but I don't particularly want to clean my teeth either, but it needs to get done. Do you understand? So start adding a bit more to the excuse, is my recommendation. So I need a volunteer now. Does anybody want to volunteer to have me work with them? And knowing that this obviously will go on the replay. I like that. Linda's saying, if I'm totally honest, I was saying, heck, Cell does this. So can I. I love it. All right. So, Kerry. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Sophie's going to send me a picture of her room. Great, Sophie. And I won't share it unless you tell me. And we'll just keep track, right? So, all right. So Kim's got something. She wants to sell some stuff on eBay, but she's heard bad things about eBay and PayPal. All right. Um, but the thing is this. Sorry, I just had Sakura send me a picture and it came up in front of my screen. So I've just got to get that away. Hang on a second. Yes, Linda's saying she's been selling stuff for 20 years on eBay. And, I use PayPal all the time. So is there a chance that there could be a bad thing happen? Yes, there's a chance that. How many of you get in a car? There's a chance you could get killed by driving a car. Yes. Now, that's interesting. Sakura's saying try selling on Facebook Market. Have any of you tried that other than Sakura? This is a new way to go, right? So Jody's saying she's had great experiences with both eBay as a buyer and as a seller. So if you don't want to sell the things, get rid of them anyway. So make up your mind. Am I going to sell them and take the risk, or am I going to just throw them out? Fair enough? Don't use the excuse anymore. Get that block of time to make that decision. The number one thing is make the decision. Just Google it when we finish the broadcast, and you will see that there is a new thing on Facebook, and they're tapping into that market. Sharon says she's bought on Facebook Market, right? So here we go. All right. I think, Zuckerberg wanted some of the eBay money. So that's what he did. He created his own marketplace. All right. Let's go on. All right. Linda says that she finds that she says she doesn't want to start because she won't be able to do a proper job because she has other things to attend to. But that excuse, you could use that every day and not get anything done. But if you could just concentrate for 5 minutes, that's what I do. I'm amazed. I've now got into the thing. Let me just put one thing away. I've got a couple of boxes with real mess stuff in it. You know what I mean? That I'm trying to downsize. And all I do is I try and pick up one thing out of that box and just decide, am I going to throw this, clean it, or what am I going to do with it? Just take one thing out as I pass by. And if, in 30 days, you get quite a lot cleared out. I'm amazed how quickly I'm going through boxes. Somebody wants to know how much of a percentage does Facebook take in a sale? I don't know, I'm afraid. Kerry, I'm not surprised that you've lost weight, right? You've got a job that's giving you a whole lot of exercise. All right, so I'm going to go forward. Some things that I've discovered, all right? I keep reminding myself that doing something, however small, is better than nothing. All right. I used to always stop myself by saying, oh, I don't have enough time to do that properly. That's perfectionism. But I keep reminding myself, I don't care how small the thing is. If you just do one thing, the answer to the question on Facebook is no money is taken. Hmm. But PayPal takes money, right? So just remember that. I also have found that limiting the time for each project has helped me a great deal. Shredding. I don't have to spend an hour doing it, just spend 10 minutes. Now, the joke I find is when I say to myself, I just need to do 10 minutes, I normally do a lot more. Just because by then I've settled down, I'm in the Zen moment, and I'm feeding the machine, and then you're just sorting stuff out. I have found, that's just my experience, your energy levels and dedication will increase in direct proportion to your achievements. How many of you have found that out? That just by starting, it increases your energy level. Just by actually doing something, the achievement has an incredible effect on you. Okay, Kim, I just didn't quite understand that. A person told me to send money, don't do it as goods on PayPal. Okay, so Missy's saying yes to PayPal. Sal, I have a Sal bucket. And then she's laughing and saying, I know. But if I manage to sort it and it's worth some, it's in my Sal bucket. Yes, good. And Kim saying, yes, it makes you feel good, right? When you just got a little achievement. How many of you I need to get a picture to Manon of what my bedroom looks like these days, because my bedroom, I've now got it down to, I've almost totally finished it. Uh, Getting it down to what I call show level. Kerry's saying she gets into the zone at work and then she forgets to eat until she's off work. But she drinks a lot of water. Kerry, with the amount of calories you are burning, I'm not sure that that's a good idea. So I would definitely take liquid breakfast with me. All right, take if you're not good about it, then take liquid breakfast, Equate, or what do you call it, a Boost or something like that. Seriously, you need to be drinking something during the day that has good stuff in it. Yeah, Boost is, the cheap version in Walmart is called Equate, I think. Oh, so she is eating. Okay, that's different, Kerry. You are eating snacks, right? But no meals until you're off. Right. So there's a lot to be said for eating small snacks during the day rather than big meals, right? So let's move on. Who wants to be the guinea pig? Or even better, who would like to commit to getting things done? Because, as in all things, there's a difference between saying you want to get something done and actually making up your mind that you're going to do it. So I want to help the people that want to get something done. All right, Kerry wants to be on that list. So, Kerry, um, we're going to ask you every week how you're doing on whatever it is that you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Jody if she can just keep track of who wants to do something so that we can get something to them where they can commit. All right. So Sakura does, Kerry does. Linda, is that yes? Yeah. Sophie's on the list. She will do her room. I'm sorry if this is too much. All right. So what we're going to do is once a week, I'm going to ask you how you're doing on that project. All right. And what I want you to do is to make sure, without lying, to make sure that you have something to report so that I can be impressed. Right? If you can't do it for yourself, do it for me. Do you understand? Do it for the team. All right. So, Linda, you've got a small furry in a cage that you need to look after. Is that right? Did I get that right? Like a gerbil? All right. Kerry, what is it you want to achieve? I didn't see that. And Jody, I know you better. I know that you want to achieve something. So, oh, Kerry's going to do meal planning. Okay, excellent. All right. Are you going to start planning meals to take with you to work or the ones for when you get home? All right. So Kim's saying, I want to, but I have to get sleep and stop having asthma attacks every night. So, what do you need to do to have those two things happen, Kim? Good idea, Kerry. And literally, even if it's a few grapes, a couple of crackers, a little bit of cheese, start having a routine that you know. And most people, what they do, Kerry, is they stack them up, for 5 of them. Okay, so Linda's going to work on her stock room. She'll take a picture for us. Jody's going to be consistent with her artwork. All right, what day are you going to do artwork on? Do you have a sleep apnea machine, Kim? Is it possible that your mask and hoses need disinfecting? Jody says Tuesdays, right? That's the day, that's my art day, Tuesdays, or craft day at the moment. All right. That's good, Jody. So what I'm going to do, Jody, is I'm going to create a what do you call it? A spreadsheet, and I'm going to have you able to fill in stuff on it for me. Is that okay? While I'm away. Is it possible, Kim, that the reason you're having the attacks is because you're not using the machine? Okay, Kim says she cleans her mask and hoses with vinegar 2 times a week, and then she uses it. Yeah, Kim, I would say that, the other thing is if that doesn't fix it, what does the doctor say, right? Get to the doctor, right? Do something constructive. Don't complain about it, do something about it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm amazed how many people do this. I'm amazed how many people just keep saying, "Oh, I've got to do something about it." But what? you know, what do you need to do? And if you don't know, who do I need to ask? Now, will life get in your way? All right. Yes. How many of you saw the video where I started having a really great day and then my car gave me a problem, which completely messed up everything that I had planned for the day? So understand that we will have these things get in our way, but does that mean that you don't do the task? No, you maybe need to cut it down a bit. Instead of doing an hour, you do 10 minutes, or instead of doing 10 minutes, you do 5. Yes, Kim, I guess I'll need to go back to the doctor until they do something. Yeah, but first I would check whether it's because you're not using your machine. The other thing, Kim, is that it's allergy season. So are you having an allergy reaction rather than, you know, check with your doctor whether you should be taking antihistamines? Okay, so Carrie's saying one of the things that she's done is that she started taking breakfast bars to work. That's good. All right, so that's what I'm saying. That if you know, that the before pictures are taken. Well done, Sophie. Send them to me. All right, and we'll put them into. I want to put them into a little album for you. So that we can show this is where you started and this is when you finished it. There you go. Well done, Linda. All right. And great stuff. Sleep well and give Nicholas a big hug for me. And let him do his project as well. So, what are yinkers? Yinks. What are yinks? So, Kim, something's not working, right? So, yikes. Okay, you got 3 errors. Okay, wow. Don't overcommit. So here is when I say don't overcommit, how many of you have noticed that if you overcommit, you end up just shooting yourself in the foot? I want you to get achievement. Don't try, use it. All right. See if it makes it any better. And if not, get back to the doctor and go, okay, fine. This is what I have done. The doctors like to hear that you try to do something to help yourself. All right, Kim? They like to hear that. Like, when I go to the doctor, I go, okay, these are the symptoms that I'm having. And before you suggest it, I have already tried this, 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 and this, and I've still got the symptoms. And then he'll just smile and go, good girl. Okay. So give them to me in order, Sophie. And tell me what order you're going to do them in, right? Or give me the first one at least so I know which one you're going to start with. So has this helped anybody? Now, I've got a question that I would like some support on, just so that you know that I'm still working on the trailer thing. And I have found out that I should really be greasing my trailer up ready for this trip. And I'm going away and then I'm coming back and I'm only back and then I'm going to go straight off with the trailer. And so, it's like, okay, do I take the risk and take the trailer without greasing it? And I'm thinking that what I perhaps need to do is get hold of the local RV place and say, "Hey, can you send somebody down to my place while I'm away and grease up that trailer for me? And here's my credit card number." If anybody got any other ideas, give them to me. I've got a feeling that as it's been standing for so long, it's probably, and get them to go and check the tires and grease it and, pay the price. And I know they're gonna say, "Well, bring it in here and we'll do it for you." And I'm going, "No, I need somebody who's gonna go to my house and do it because I'm away and I don't." So, and if not, I guess I'm gonna take the risk. You're saying that before I go very far, just go around the block first to make sure everything's working? Where's the fun in that, Triona? Yes, actually, the rust paint is a really good thing. I normally, whenever I go away on that first trip of a year, I take the rust paint with me. I have a black rust paint and a silver one. And then I go, how many of you are worried about me doing this trip? That's interesting. Triona said that she's worried about me. She's afraid for me. Triona, think about the great video you're going to get. Here I am. I made it a mile down the road. So, is anybody else worried? Oh, actually, that's a good point. Maybe I should tell them to come and get it during the week, service it, and then return it. Wow, that would be very expensive. Jonas is asking me what editing program do I use for my videos. Actually, it's quite funny. I use two, Jonas. I got to be quite honest. I use something called. Hang on a second. I will tell you in a little while. I've just got to close some screens to find out what one I use. I use a program called Resolve to do the edits. DaVinci Resolve, and it's a beta test. I'm beta testing for them. But here's what I found out, and I found it out after 5 years. First of all, let me ask you, why did you ask? Is it just generally out of interest or because of something that you wanted to talk about around it? Where am I going? Okay. I'm going to a place called, I'm going to come back to Jonas, going to a place called South Whidbey Island. So feel free to check it on your Google Maps. In Washington State. Now, Jonas, the Resolve is pretty complicated, right? It's not what I call a beginner program in lots of ways, but that's what I use. The thing that I found out, and I made this mistake for 5 years and I couldn't believe it, that I was actually processing all my videos in high definition, everything top of the line to upload it. And I found out that if you actually just do it for YouTube, It's about half the resolution, and it's still high definition, and it looks great, and it takes a quarter of the time. So it's a mistake I made by accident and continued. If you keep on doing what you've always done, you'll always get the same result, right? And so I realized I must be doing something that's wrong. And then I changed programs. I bought the YouTube um, Movie Maker and found out that, boy, that uploads really fast. But at the moment, I don't like their editing program because the editing program isn't linked. Yeah, that's why I've never, I won't pay Adobe prices. I don't have that sort of income. So that's why try DaVinci. If you've used Premiere Pro, then DaVinci will be within your uh, abilities, all right? Because Adobe Premiere Pro is pretty, up there. But the YouTube Movie Maker, I think, is about $80. I think I paid for that. But what I didn't like about it, Jonas, and I want to give you a heads up on this, is when it's at the moment they've got a problem because they've got the video track and then they've got the audio track. But when you cut the video track, it doesn't automatically cut the audio track at the same place. In other words, they haven't got the two locked together so that you can cut them both at the same time. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And quite honestly, I found that a total bear to use to edit, but I like the upload. So now what I'm doing is I'm editing in Resolve and uploading via the YouTube pro. I bring it into the YouTube program and upload it from there. I know that sounds really complicated, but it works. And it's way faster than I've ever had before, so I'm happy. Yeah, it's I used to quite honestly, I used to love the Windows program, Movie Maker. That worked really well for just everyday editing. And of course, they've stopped that now. Mm. Yeah, Jonas. So the Resolve doesn't have all the fancy things in the free version, but then you could move it into the Movie Maker and do all those fancy things to it if you wanted to. You just need to recut it and put the transitions and everything else in. Am I making sense, Jonas? That's the thing about actually I've got to find out how much it costs to get the pro version of Resolve, because it actually is a very easy to use program once you get the idea of it. What is Lightworks, Sophie? Is Lightworks a brand name or is it a genre? It's good that we have those questions. I appreciate it. I found as well, by the way, that I've started to actually put things like, all right, Jody, can you file that one back at me later? I will have a look at it and see whether I can try that out as well. It's really important that we sort of share those sort of things because, we're each of us have found different ways of doing it, and maybe we can help one another in that. I always love that idea. I was really sad when Movie Maker didn't continue because it was so useful for me on the road. Yeah, I have to. It's a pretty complicated program, Kim. Are you pretty good at editing? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but it's not like um, it's fairly complicated. I wouldn't say it's a beginner thing. Let's put it that way. It's not like Movie Maker. Yeah, Sophie said that's what I'm saying. There's some that are free, and you need to actually understand what you're doing to even begin to use them. So I would not recommend Resolve for a beginner. Definitely not. But if you know what you're doing, and it's a bit like, how many of you know that if you've learned how to do a spreadsheet, it doesn't matter whose spreadsheet you're using, you know what it does. Therefore, you've just got to find out how this one does it. Right? And so that's what I look at is, okay, fine. If you're pretty basic only, then don't go into these. All right, so Lightworks, yes, and Resolve is the same. It's a movie maker type one. It's a movie, no, sorry, it's a movie production type thing. Yeah, but Sophie, with all due respect, you got that sort of a mind, right? Like you don't quit. You're like me. It's like, I will not let this program beat me. So help me. And in fact, it was quite funny because as much as I loved the Movie Maker program, I could not believe that they hadn't linked those two, the video and the audio together, that you could cut the two at the same time. And I actually wrote to the manufacturer, the developer, and I said, could you tell me how to lock those two together so I can edit easily? And he said, no, we haven't done that yet. Okay. What? It's a YouTube thing and you haven't locked those two? How? Because when you do those locks individually, when you do the edit cuts individually, you can be, a split hair away and it will change the, never mind. You get the idea. It's not easy. So that's good. Any other questions? Jonas? I'm amazed actually how many programs there are out there that are really well worth the money. They're sort of under $100 and they do a really good job. I think I used to use one called Movie, Muvee, I think it was. That was really quite nice as well. So I just keep seeing, different ones and trying them out. Just got to spend a bit of time. It's a bit of frustration spending the time, but once you've got it worked out, it's worth it. And quite honestly, if I hadn't played with the new program, I wouldn't have found out what I was doing wrong that was taking so much time to upload. Yeah, I'll have a look at that, really. No, nothing's for free these days, or very little. So you all understand that I am going away this weekend. I had a really interesting thing happen. I'm going to do a speech on Monday. I'm going to visit some friends that are in the area, and then I'm going to be there to do a speech on Monday evening. And out of the blue yesterday, I suddenly got an email that was an email from one person to another, and I was copied on it. And it said in there, and please make sure that you record it and video it. And I went, what? Now, I don't know if any of you relate to this, but I do this professionally. I'm giving of my time to go and do a freebie for this organization, and now they're going to videotape me. I don't know if any of you understand that was like, really? Without my permission? How many of you understand that's an issue? So, as some of you know, I really try to feel the feeling, and the feeling was, really? Without my permission, I'm I don't like that. So I wrote back, and remember, seek first to understand. So I wrote back and said, you're thinking of videotaping me? Question mark. In other words, and then I said, that's the first I've heard of this. I wanted to make that point. And then I said, however, before I, react, let me find out the intent. Why do you want to videotape me? And I obviously upset a few people in that because I heard back from the mucky muck of this thing who said, well, the only reason really was because I'm going to be away and I'm going to miss it. And I went, oh, okay. And there was somebody else that was going to be away and going to miss it. And so what they wanted was to be able to hear what I had to say. So I said, well, that's a whole different story. That's not you're videotaping it so you can spread it to your whole organization. This is for individual use um, of the head person and one other. That's a whole different story to me. So I said, under those circumstances, I don't have a problem. And the reason that I reacted to it is because what I have to say is very personal and not something I would want out on the um, universe. That what I have to say is very personal stuff. But if it is just for personal use, I have no problem. So you understand, it was like I said, but I am very, very grateful for the fact that I saw that line. How many of you know if I'd walked in to do that speech and seen a video camera or people up recording me on their phones without my permission, that would have really triggered me. So I'm really right. So be aware. Remember that Terry Cole Whitaker thing, right? What you think of me is really none of my business. The fact that I, peed in somebody's cornflakes because I had an issue with it is not really my problem. My problem is this is what I do. I'm a speaker. And you are a reputable organization that should know better than to videotape somebody without their permission. Right? The reason people reacted is because they knew they were wrong. Does that make sense? So what happens when people get caught on something that they made a mistake on? They're inclined to push back, and so I didn't take it personally. I just went, yeah, I'm not surprised you reacted. It must have felt very uncomfortable, especially as you are the head of that group. You should not have done that without checking with me first. Now, when I understood their intent, when I understood the reason, okay, fair enough. Now, what I might say is whatever you record, could I have a copy of it? Because I might choose to share some of it with my people. This is called a win-win. Because I got a feeling some of you would like to see me speak. By the way, I discovered something really strange, right? That I haven't been in what I call speaker mode for quite some time. And do you know how much I walk when I'm working on speeches? I pace my whole place. Because I walk when I talk. So if I'm sort of trying to work through something that I want to talk about, I will automatically be walking. I found myself talking to myself and walking quite a bit. So that's really quite surprising. All right. How many of you would like me to do a broadcast on Saturday rather than not do one at all on Sunday? Okay. So what I will do, that's one. What I will do is because I'm going to be at my host's house on my own, so that would be a perfect time for me to do a quick broadcast. So it might not be a focused broadcast, in other words, that I'm putting up advance notice of what we're going to talk about. It might just be, let's just chit chat for a while. I'll talk about the trip down and what didn't happen. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Triona's giving us a great quote here, and I want to share it because of the people who might watch this on the replay. The optimist sees a donut. Yay! The pessimist sees a hole. Well, Sharon, the good news is that if we do it, then it'll be up on the website anyway, so you'll be able to see it later. Okay, Kim, look after your breathing issues, please. Well, what do you mean you're supposed to have? Don't you mean you're going to do it? Huh. Do you notice the wording there? I'm supposed to have a girls' night out. All right, and this is part, Sharon, this is part of what I keep trying to explain to people. Be careful what you think about and what you say. All right. Now, Kim's saying now, I will take care of it. Now, that is definitely a positive thing. So if you say I'm supposed to have a girls' night out, that means I might not do it. Right. But if you are the designated driver, you better be there. That's your commitment. You said you would do that. So it's not a case of I'm supposed to. I have girls' night out and I'm the designated driver. So there's no way, I'm going to be doing anything else. So you understand the difference, Sharon? And you see, that's the whole thing that we need to do with our goals, right? What we need to do with our goals is not say, well, I'll get to it when I can. We need to say to ourselves, I am going to do something about it every day this week. How many of you saw how much I achieved in my trailer well, you saw 2 hours of it on video, and then I subsequently have done about another hour of stuff. Right? Because some of the stuff came back to the house and I've been cleaning it in the dishwasher, or I vacuumed the carpets and put them back, stuff that I didn't have recorded, but I'm still doing stuff on it. Now, the other thing I need to do before I go tomorrow is I need to get some medical insurance, which I haven't got, to cross the line. Well, isn't that wonderful? So Sharon's not the designated driver now. She's managed to find a guy that will do it for them. That's awesome. We like that. Yeah, how many of you saw just how much was possible? I don't know about you, but when I first walked into the trailer, it was like, oh, crud. I'll have to do this when I take the trailer. I imagined actually hauling the trailer that dirty and just fixing it while I was on vacation. Oh, I'm so glad that you like it, Sakura. It's funny, isn't it? Um, Now, the other thing is that how satisfied are you all with doing it on YouTube Live? Because what I said was I would do April on YouTube Live to see how everybody liked it, and if necessary, I would move back to the other program. I know that there are some disadvantages, but I want to know if the advantages outweigh what were they talking about this week? I like that idea. And I've noticed some people have been using that as, they have actually been catching up. So I tried to put the chat back in the program. Hang on, and that stupid thing is still in the way. I got to pop it out again. I thought maybe it would have gone away while I was busy chatting, but it didn't. Never mind. Okay, so that's what Sakura is saying. No, actually, Sophie, the first thing I do, just so that you know, the first thing I do when I disconnect off the broadcast, I go and cut the thing with the comments on it. It takes me maybe 5 minutes to get there and get that fixed. It really is the first thing I do. I have the option of replaying the video without the comments. All right. And so I think some of you will have noticed that when you click it on, it says the chat is not available on this video. But it does take me about 5 minutes to get it done and that it's all sorted. Okay. So I know that was a big problem and for some people. And that's why if I see something that's pretty contentious on here, if you notice, I will ask permission to talk about it before I actually talk about it, because I can see it in the chat, but I don't have to talk about it. Have you noticed I do that? Can I just get your permission to repeat that? Because I am aware of the fact that, some of these things, should not be repeated. It's okay if you choose to do it in the broadcast, but, not necessary for the whole world to listen to. That's why, Sophie. If I see something and I go, I think that's just for us as a group, then I'll say, can I get your permission to repeat that for the replay, Sophie? Makes sense? Because I am aware that not only are we talking about it now, but we have a replay on it. I want to tell you that it really has amazed me in terms of how it's swinging the figures. And I say the figures, but it really is quite amazing how the figures change because of doing it on here. So I'm not going to make a whole lot more money because of it or anything. It's just that it just does switch everything over. By the way, how many of you are enjoying the art stuff? I'm trying to work out whether I need to do a separate YouTube channel just for the art, or do you like it that I'm sort of mixing things in there? Some days I'm doing craft, some days I'm doing art, some days I'm doing life stuff. I just want to make sure. Do you find it relaxing to watch it? Yeah, did you watch the one that I put up, was it last night or this morning? Um this is great. I want to tell you something. That one, when I was looking at as I was editing that one I've just recently put up, I put it up last night or this morning, I can't remember which. But what I realized was how many times I built up the paint. Did you see that? I think I went back 3 different times in that one area to build up the depth of paint in that area. It's not relaxing. You're going, oh, I want to try that. As you can tell, Sophie, it's a bit of a messy hobby, right? It's not for the faint of at heart, right? So if you are a clean freak, this is not your hobby. Wait a minute. Just hold on 1 second. Sakura, was it you that asked me to show you a picture when it was finished? I know somebody asked me that, and I think it was you. I'll tell you in a second, Seth. I want to tell you the best thing in the world is to have laminate floors. It comes off there so beautifully. Yeah, okay, here it is. This is the one that I was painting. It's not glossed yet, but it's dry. And this is like 2 feet by about 8 inches, I think. Get it? You see a kitty? I love that you can see these things. Now, the funny thing was, for those of you who watched me put this together, there was green in here, and I don't see any of the green anywhere. Isn't that funny? By the way, I love these paints. I really did. And And right, what do I do with the runoff paint? Sophie, where does the paint go? I actually keep the paint, and you know, if you put all colors together, do you know you get gray? And this is what I do with the gray. um, yeah. Or what I do, Sophie, is I use this for the base of my darker colors. You know, I will use this as the start to make olive greens or anything else. Okay, you see a lady. Hang on. With her left arm back and stars around her head. Here? Yes, I see that now. Is it this one? I think one of the things that I wanted to find out is, do you guys watch me and go, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it? How do I catch it with the really big pieces? Well, you know, like the eagle. You remember the eagle? Did you see that one? Yeah. So, Sophie, did you see the eagle? That's the biggest one I've done. Yes. And Sophie, I understand that some of you will see the original time I put the paint down and go, please stop there. Please stop there. All right. But, you know, it's not who I am. All right. Who I am. Hi, Roseanne. Who I am is what I do. Right. So I think that's the whole thing. And once you start on this, I think it'll make more sense. It's not a precise science. It's like, you know, you got to work on it. So what do I do? I have a couple of things that I pour the paint into, right? As I tilt it, I'm pretty sure that most of the runoff will go round about here, so I will tilt it into something. Okay, or you know, I'll tilt it on, and I have one on each side, but some of it's going to end up on the floor. The other thing is, I have plastic bags down on the floor. Right. So, and what happens is during the week it just dries and then you can just peel it off. But I do have a room that I can, you know, get out of and leave it there. I really recommend, and I did this, you know, for the longest time, I was working on very small pieces of paper to learn the art, right? Yeah, Sophie, it's a bit like that. Yeah, there's paint dripping everywhere. By the way, I have special painting clothes because it gets over all my clothes. Um, some of it's not the easiest thing to get off your body either, so I nearly always have to leave there and then shower and scrub. I really recommend if you start doing it, make sure you have rubbing alcohol. I have some in a spritz bottle, and I have some of it, you know, in just a regular bottle. But rubbing alcohol will take it off your hands, take it off your furniture, take it off your floors if you need to. But if you've got laminate floors, it comes off really well with a credit card. Um, Seriously, you just literally take a credit card and it'll just pop straight off. The thing that you don't do not throw too much of it down your sinks. I keep my, for example, I have water that I wash my containers out with, and I keep that water in milk jugs. And now, as the weather is getting hotter, I'm starting to put those milk jugs of very smelly water out onto my patio in a big plastic container and letting it evaporate. Does that make sense, Sophie? My biggest problem was the water, and I didn't want to keep throwing it down. I heard horror stories about what it can do to your plumbing. Nail polish remover, I guess you can, but to me, Sakura, that's way more toxic than rubbing alcohol. I don't know why. I could be wrong on that one. Yeah, so I found just using, I have a gallon container that I rinse things out in. Actually, what I do, just so that you know, I'll take a container that I've had the paint in, I'll use as much as I can, and then I turn it upside down on a paper towel and let it drip. All right. So I'm not creating too much dirty water. Then I will let it dry, because once it's dry, it's fairly easy to get most of it off the plastic. And only then do I put it in water to get the rest of it off. Make sense, Sophie? And by the way, I reuse my paper towels. I'll use my paper towels in the kitchen, and then I'll take them to my art room to use them to clean dirty things. I get double whammy out of most of my paper towels. Obviously, if I'm using paper towel for greasy stuff, I don't. But if it's just to, you know, wipe up a mess or something, I do double duty with them. The other thing that works really well, and I found that out by accident, is wet wipes. Wet wipes do a really good job, and they are reusable. You can wash them out and reuse them very easily. Yeah, try wet wipes instead of paper towels. Depending on what you're using. Yeah. But paper towels, I'm not I mean, wet wipes are really, I'm quite surprised. You can literally use them, rinse them out, use them again, just let them dry, reuse them again. I've got a whole pile of them. You know, again, I double duty them. Yeah, I use them in my bathroom for when I'm putting my makeup on sometimes, and then I'll rinse them out and take them to the studio. Save myself a fortune in paper towels. But I do have the paper towels because I turn my containers onto them. Yeah, I'm amazed at how useful wet wipes can be. Good. All right. So for those of you who are committed to doing something, we've got your name. We took your name. And during the week sometime, depending on when I get a quiet time, I will be sending you a little, hello, I've got you down for this. We're halfway through the week now. A heads up so you don't look like a bozo come the next broadcast. But what I want to do is I want to actually have a weekly session of the Power Hour. All right, which is, well, Jody said she was going to do this, and did she? And Sakura said she's going to do this. By the way, I wanted to give kudos to Sakura. She knew that I was going down to her area with the trailer, and wrote to me and asked me how she could help. And really has been so helpful in trying to find me a suitable a suitable campground. Now, the funny thing is, Sakura, some friends of mine really want me to stay at their campground, but they don't have Wi-Fi for visitors. And I'm going, that's not, I cannot go away for a week without Wi-Fi. I mean, hello, you guys would kill me. So, it's just like, no, Wi-Fi is really important. Food, not so much. Wi-Fi, yes, please. How many of you can see that I'm just going, no, sorry, no Wi-Fi, no Coke? It was interesting though, because Sakura gave me the name of one particular campground, and they won't take cash or a credit card. Can you believe that? Who won't take cash? Wi-Fi and Mars bars. Yeah, Mars bars are good. I might. Now, you know what I've never done? I've never done a quick broadcast from the road. And I'm thinking maybe when I'm sitting trying to amuse myself at the border, I should try a broadcast because their Wi-Fi is pretty good there, I think. I'll maybe do a quick test because I get bored. um, so wish me luck. And what else do I have to tell you about this trip? Isn't that amazing? You can't rent a car with cash. There must be so much dirty money around, Jody. That's what I'm thinking. But that's what I'm thinking. There must be so much laundered money going around, or fake money going around. Why else would they stop cash? And the other question is, why no credit card? Because they will lose X% in the transaction. Yeah, I was shocked when Sakura said to me they won't take cash or a credit card. I'm going, really? How else do you pay? It's like, how about PayPal? No. Got to take a cashier's check. What was the other thing, Sakura? Cashier's check or money order, I think. So it's I better, be aware though, because it's important. Yeah. But Sakura was telling me that you can get a cashier's check from Walmart. Did you know that? Where do you get that from? Just at the checkout or? I've never heard of that. Or maybe it's just in the States. I certainly didn't know that. I'd have to check it out with my local Walmart. It's just like, really, the things you learn, right? Oh, the customer service section. Okay, they see I learned something. How many of you didn't know that? So we all learned something, right? That you can get a cashier's check at the customer service if you're prepared to stand in line. Not my favorite job, you know that. Um, hmm, interesting. So I learned something today. So basically, I've just got to stop at a Walmart somewhere. Or find somewhere that takes real money or Uh, this is quite funny. So, learning all the time. So for those of you who are a little bit concerned about the trip, don't be. It'll be what it is, and whatever happens, it's going to be part of the adventure. Can you see that somehow? Yeah, but you're not allowed to stay overnight at a lot of parks. Just it's like rest stops have RV parking, but you're not allowed to park overnight. So I quite honestly prefer to have full hookup. Because not everything on my trailer works properly. So I need I need the water connected. I need the high electricity connected. I I am not self-sufficient without those things. I'm not an off-grid person, right? I need the hookups. I want to know I can go to the washroom. I want to know I can shower and not worry about the water because there's more coming in. Well, this is the whole thing. You see, to me, it's like, yeah, all sorts of things could go wrong. Can you see how I could shoot myself in the foot with this? Oh, I better not take the trailer. Something could go wrong. Oh, I better not take the car because something went wrong this week and maybe something else will go wrong. Right? You understand? It's how you start your day that determines. If I see it as the big adventure, then whatever happens, it's like, okay, this is part one of the adventure. Now, what am I going to do? And I think, yeah, I like this, Sakura, my 2-week adventure. Right? And you never know who you're going to meet. Oh, it's so easy to talk yourself out of it, Jody. You know that. You know that. So tonight, Jody, I really want to tell you that I wrote tonight's program with you in mind in terms of some of the stuff you'd been talking about. Because I think it's really important that we see that we really stop ourselves so often from doing little things because what if, You remember I was talking last week about the what if monster. But, well, it's too much like hard work. Why would I do it? Or yeah, da, 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 So tonight's program is, does anybody do that? You stop yourself having fun. Well, I know I got invited up, but I can't be bothered to go. Do any of you do that? Well, I really could go for a walk, but, why would I? It just seems like, yeah. What I want to show is that, oh, I do it if I had the money, or all these excuse things, as opposed to dealing with what you've got. I look at it and say, hey, I've got a really nice Jeep that's lasted me 20 years and the thing is still rolling. Yeah, occasionally it breaks down, so who cares, right? Um, I've got a trailer that is just as old and may seize up on the way down there for all I know. I don't know. But it's like, but I've had a motorhome that was way older than my trailer and it worked. So, it's just like, and think of the adventures I'm going to miss out on. How many of you know I'm going to meet new people and I'm going to, whatever happens, I'm going to get some time away from downsizing and I'll have an excuse not to downsize because I'm not at home. Right? So I'm looking at it as a mini vacation. It's not quite Hawaii. I know that. But you know that I will have fun doing it. Now, I was thinking I might take some of my pendants with me, and maybe make some of those while I'm there, because I think I will miss doing my crafts. Not sure if I will try doing any painting down there. I could really have a problem with that. But I could take some, well, no, I will decide. I might take some with me and finish them off, and gloss them or do whatever. But I don't think I'm going to take paints with me and try and paint in my trailer. No, not so much. Yeah, pendants are perfect because I've already got the paintings, and all I need is to put them together, and that's easy to do. And I'm sure you guys will want to see what I'm up to with those, so that's good. Plus, I've got a lot of DearMamaSal stuff that I want to work on, and I can just sit there quietly. And if it's pouring with rain in the Pacific Northwest, which it could be, I don't have to feel guilty about it. The other thing, I've got to find some clothes to wear for the wedding. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to wear because, it's still only April and it's going to be outside, I think. And I probably will be able to take in some of the tulips. I would like to do that for you guys, for those of you who enjoy seeing the flowers. So I'd like to go back there because I thought that was a really, I think it only cost me about $10 to get in, and it was well worth $10. It pleased my heart. Yeah, bring cold weather clothes. I want to tell you, when I'm camping, Sakura, I live in my sweats most of the time. So the only, I've got all sorts of sweats that are made for the trailer, as far as I'm concerned. They're fleece and they're warm, and I take big woolly cardigans. And I'm a camper. I know how cold and wet it can get. Well, maybe we can do that together, Sakura. If that's something you would like to do. So Yeah. Either go up there together or, you know, yeah. We'll make a plan. Let me get through this week first. Do you understand why I keep saying that? I've got a speech that I need to concentrate on. When I've finished with the speech, I can concentrate on the next thing. Um, so I'm really, I'm inclined to work like that, which is I only go this far. I mean, I've started looking at sorts of places and stuff, but really what I have to concentrate on is Monday. Getting down there and doing the speech on Monday. That's my number one priority. Once that speech is over, I will be able to relax, and then I'll be really looking for somewhere to stay and where to go. So that's it. All right, everybody. So I hope did anybody learn anything today? Did anybody have an aha moment? Or, yeah, I really want to do that now, or something that made it worthwhile being here at the broadcast? Because to me, I think we all need reminding that if we don't plan to succeed, then we plan to fail, right? If I don't plan to do something about downsizing every day, regardless of whether I do the things that I said I was going to do, that isn't the issue. The issue is, did I allocate some time? And when I go to bed at night and I look at that, can I say to myself, I did something? Sophie's already started cleaning her room. Way to go, Sophie. You see, we can do this together, right? You're not the only ones. So, and how does it feel, Sophie? Oh, bitteschön. Auf Wiedersehen to Germany. It's really nice to meet you, Sarah. How did you find us? I'm amazed at the people that listen that we don't know about. Send them to DearMamaSal, because then I can just upload them into. What I want to do is start an album, if you like, of this is what Sophie did this week. And if you can, Sophie, give me permission to share the photograph, right? And if you don't want me to share the photograph, I will just show the finished ones. Ah, the perfectionist. It's not satisfactory until it's done. I got news for you. That's not what I'm finding about downsizing. All right. I'm actually amazed how much satisfaction I've got, even though I've still got a mess everywhere, because I know how much I've done. I know how much I've thrown out, and I know how much I've shredded, and I know how many of you like my dirty rag pictures? Yes, and you can imagine, Sophie, when I'm clearing up the whole of my house bit by bit, my whole house is in uproar, but I don't mind anymore. It will all look better, and it does already look better. I'm quite amazed actually how much better it looks. And I did a whole lot of cleaning of stuff this week. Yes, Sakura, send me the dirty rag pictures. Because to me, it's like you can either say, "Yuck, was it really that dirty?" You can go, "Wow, that was worth doing." You see, remember the donut. It's either a donut or it's a hole. You know. You see, and that's how I look at it. And I'm not ashamed. How many of you like it better because I'm showing you that reality, by the way? When I saw whatever that was on the floor in my trailer, I'm thinking, I don't know what that was. Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. I can't write German at all, never mind Fast, so bitte. I appreciate that. And Wiedersehen, and please keep watching. I have another viewer in Germany called Andrea. And whereabouts in Germany? From Gummersbach. Where's Gummersbach? Yeah, Jody, that thing exploded inside a drawer. And I've still got to get into the drawer and clean the drawer out, but that I can do when I'm on vacation. But when I first looked at it, it looked corrosive to me. It looked like it was a problem. And so near Cologne. Oh, well, I've been there. I've just never seen Gemmersbach before. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So a big hug to you in Germany, and thank you for being here. Thank you for being a viewer, and keep watching. By the way, do we have you on the mailing list, Sarah? For any of you who are not on the mailing list, just literally send me a note on dearmamasal@gmail.com and put yes to the list. Okay? Just so that I can add you in. We're trying to sort of get the list updated. Oops, it would help if I could type today. Just put that in. Sorry to. Hang on a second. I just have to get your permission. It's a European thing. I like the way it highlights my dear Mama Soul, don't you? It says I'm important. All right, everybody. So I will see you Saturday, and we will do I'm not going to worry about planning a whole broadcast because I don't know how long I'll be on. No, you can't do it here, Sarah. You need to email me, honey. Please. Unless I take a screenshot. Hang on. Maybe I can take a screenshot. No, because I haven't got your real name here, right? I need to have, by European law, did you know that, Sarah? By European law, if you have not given me express permission to send you an email, then I can be contravening the European law, and it's very bad if you do that. I think a lot of YouTubers are going to be in a lot of trouble if they don't do what I'm doing. And is it a pain for you and a pain for me? Yep. But I don't want to lose my house because I didn't obey the law. Eliza John. Yeah, you know something? We're doing a 1-month test on YouTube Live because we had so many problems with Vaughn. We had so many problems with Tiny Chat. I really was getting so fed up with it. And so I said, you know something? Let's just do it on YouTube and let's just see, at least we know the platform is solid. At least we know people can get to it easily. And hopefully that the quality is a lot better. So it's great that you found us. I haven't put it up on those two areas because I wasn't sure how it was going to work. What a beautiful man. Really? Is that what you meant? Yeah. So yeah, Liza John, it was really because I was getting so frustrated. I was losing viewers, because of it. Do I have any pets? Right. Yeah. Keep the questions coming. I used to. I lost my dog. Um, I've always had pets, funny enough, but I lost my last dog a few years ago, and I have not replaced him. As you can tell, Jessica, um, it breaks my heart. He was a cross German Shepherd Husky. Yeah, it wasn't just the glitchiness of Vaughn, Eliza John. It was people were having problems getting in. You had to have really good Wi-Fi for Vaughn to work properly. And a lot of my viewers, don't have that luxury. Plus, what I like about being on YouTube is that it automatically saves it uh, in the DearMamaSal YouTube area. So if you missed it, you can get back. Yes, a lot of buffering. Yes, Eliza John, that's what people were saying. The delays, the delay between what I was. By the way, how is the delay here on YouTube? Are any of you finding that there's a lot of delay? Or is it pretty much what you see is what you get? I am really glad you let me know that, Eliza John. Thank you. You see, and that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about. We had so many problems with those issues. And I think you deserve better than that, quite honestly. Yeah, but Sophie, you're across the pond. What do you expect? It's having problems swimming. How many of you can see it? Yeah. Well, Eliza John, I'm really delighted that you're here. Um, it's always nice to hear. I'm actually quite amazed how many people have told me since I've come on to do the YouTube live that they've been watching, but I didn't know about them. So it's great. I love it. I love, like, our friend from Germany here, right? On the TV, it's not in sync. Okay, good to know. Well, it's always a pleasure to meet people. I love you practice witchcraft. What you do is your business, not mine. Right? Um, and so if that's what you choose to do with your life, that is your right. Okay, that's good. So welcome, and I want to say that life is what it is. It's full of interesting things and people to see and personalities to mix with and all those things. Our problem is we stop ourselves from enjoying life time and time again. So tonight, for those of you who will be back on for tonight, it's going to be 7 o'clock Pacific time. We're going to be talking about how to play the hand you're dealt, not the one you wish you had. Do you all understand the difference between those two? Right? How do I make the most of lucky enough to have a trailer? The fact that it's not the best, who cares? My car, yeah, it breaks down occasionally, but it still goes. I'm very grateful for it. You know what I mean? It's like, let's do what we can with what we have, not wish for what we haven't. So that's the topic tonight. And if any of you have got any stories of where you are doing that, or even better, stories of where you were doing it but have changed your thinking, let's share them. All right. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, I need to get out of here and get some food. Big hugs to you all. I need to take the hugs. Really appreciate it all. And I'm going to find the buttons now to say goodbye. Bye bye.